the thing on the thing.
You need the thing on the thing? Oh, the show on the thing?
Monitor.
Oh, what is up, everybody? And welcome in to the pregame show.
Let's go. Let's go.
Oh, man. Friday night at the DNVR bar, and the agenda is on the line. My God, man. I love it. You know what? This last game, 76ers, we were all sweating, right? Because it's all of our agenda. Tonight, just one of us is sweating. It's kind of fun.
I feel great right now.
I feel so relaxed.
I know. For the rest of you, it's a Friday night. Nothing on the line.
Nothing on the line, but for my guy, Vogt, the agenda apocalypse could be near. We're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about making three-pointers, you guys. Making three-pointers. There's a very specific reason why we're going to talk about that, as well as Jokic playing tonight. What should we expect from him? Very, very, strange week for him, tough week for him. What do we expect tonight? All of that and more, but first, the man with the agenda himself, Brendan Vogt.
Here's the thing. When you say you will be there no matter what, you have to be there no matter
It's true.
what. I'll be there. They're undefeated at home. I'm still here.
Oh,
It could be Game 7 in the NBA Finals. I'd still be here. Let's go, boys.
I would hope so.
Let's go, boys.
yeah.
We march together
so too.
into hell, and and I'm talking shit the whole way.
I thought that was a message to like Embiid or something when he started that out. So that was a little crazy.
He's like a wrestler over here. Is pumping himself up before
Was
getting
that
in the
a
ring.
pre-planned monologue?
Did you write that out?
No, guys. Do you think I would prepare for the show?
No, I don't. Over here, I've got Harrison
together.
Lynn.
Fellas, I'm excited to be here, man. Relaxed, ready to go, ready to enjoy this Friday night, and ready to hand the Celtics their first L at home.
Ooh, that would be a nice little Friday.
Wayne, you look cool tonight.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
It's
over
a
there,
haircut. You got a
I
haircut.
did get a haircut.
over
yeah.
there. Look at man, Dev. Always noticed. That's why I appreciate about him. Superstar Dev.
See, I love Friday nights with the fellas, but it's an early Friday night with the fellas. I'm geeked.
This guy.
What a
Glowing.
good game. This is going to be a great game, man.
Some people are excited for the game. Some people are excited for the early exit. It's gonna be an early night. You get out of here. You can have your
Or
whole-
maybe I'll be hanging out with the fellas. Maybe I'm going to get a beer or two.
Man.
Maybe do we have Stella Artois?
Is that your drink? Is that your
That's
going for
Nikola
tonight?
Jokic is
good.
drink.
There you go.
Allegedly.
You and Yoke. All right. Nuggets are taking on the Boston Celtics. You mentioned it already. They have not lost at home, but there's a first for everything. Win. What do you got game notes wise?
Yes, Celtics are 20-0 at home. 20-0. They're 32-9 overall, first in the East. I'd say if you ask anybody who the best team in the NBA is right now, if you asked 100 people, I bet you 90 say the Celtics. Maybe
you're
more.
right. I think you're probably right. You know what, though? That 20-0 record, you know what's so great about it? When you have a streak, it almost becomes a distraction, especially if only one team beats you.
Yeah.
Because tonight can be a message-sending night. Like, if you do end up meeting in the finals and they go 40-1 at home, but the one is Denver, they might as well go winless at home because it gets in your head of like, yeah, but that is the team that's not afraid of that. So
Yeah.
it could be a fun little psychological kernel you throw in their brain.
The Celtics have the best net rating in the NBA this season, and it's not close. They have a 10 net rating, 10.0. Number 2 is Philly at 8.2. Like, there's a significant gap there between 1 and 2. They're on a 3-game winning streak, coming off a win over the Spurs, and that was without Kristaps Porzingis, who they get back in the lineup tonight. The Celtics' most used starting 5, Porzingis, Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Drew Holiday, Derek White, they're 18-3 when they have that starting 5.
That's a crazy starting lineup. I'm not going to lie
18-3.
to you. It sounds so good when you go through just all 5.
Yeah.
The bench, are they as strong?
They have a solid bench. I mean, they've got Al Horford coming off the bench, who's slipped into the starting lineup a little bit over the last couple of games. Also off the bench, they've got guys like Peyton Pritchard. You're probably a fan of him. And
That's Dev's guy,
That's
man.
good. Hauser.
That's Dev's guy. He's all
another
over
one
him.
of Dev's guys.
Dev loves Hauser,
Sam
man.
Hauser and Pritchard.
Those are the most Boston guys
My
you
guys.
could think of. Even their Peyton Pritchard is such a
Peyton
Boston
Pritchard.
name.
Do they have a Harrison Wind on there?
No.
Oh.
No. And for the Nuggets, Aaron Gordon's the only guy who was on the injury report tonight.
What was wrong with him?
Shoulder.
Man,
Right shoulder too, shooting shoulder, but he is playing.
Don't love that. Shoulder is always a little scary to me.
Yeah.
One of those weird injuries. But playing tonight, so there you go. And by the way, Aaron Gordon, an important piece because you talk about they can go to some double big lineups, playing Horford and Porzingis together. But if they're going to go to their go-to lineup that you just read off to us, Tatum, Brown guarding AG, you got to win that match. They're going to win the three-point battles. We're going to talk about here in a little bit. They are probably going to win the three-point battle. You got to win the, punish them, get physical battle. And if you ask me, message sending, yes, beating them at their home court for the first time is a big message. But they are a pretty team. You know what? They play hard defense. They execute. But they're kind of pretty. You go in there and AG just muscles them around, and it's like, hey, no, man, they're too soft. They don't like to get that. Yoke goes in there with Porzingis shooting all those pretty jumpers. Nope, go down on the post. Punish them. That's how you send messages to a team like this.
Mm-hmm. This was Michael Malone pregame. He said, if you let Jayson Tatum play in any kind of space, he's one of the best shot makers in the NBA. He's going to own you if you let him do that.
He might.
It's January.
He might.
What do you think he goes today?
Or he might not.
What is his field goal? What do you think his field goal attempts?
I think Tatum's going to shoot 44% in this game.
That's a good game.
That'd be his best shooting percentage in 3 games.
That's a good game for him. That's a little scary. That's scary for the Virginia.
I'm not going to lie. Listen, I've told you guys this. I feel better about playing this team in the finals than I do right now on the road.
That's a wild take. I
think it's the right take.
All right.
I think there's a real chance they lose this game.
Right. You have more notes here?
That's what I got for game notes.
What do we expect from Nikola Jokic tonight, Dev? Because obviously, as we covered on this very show, he loses his first coach and one of his mentors, Dayon, this year. 46 years old, just this week. Very unexpected. He's playing tonight. Miroslav wondered if he was going to play tonight, that it might affect him so much. Clearly, it's affecting him. What do you think you get from Jokic tonight?
I think we see emotion from Jokic. I think that we see a passionate Jokic and a reason. That's the thing. He's just really good at basketball. He's doing it because he's a lot better than everyone else. And he loves he has a competitive spirit, but we don't get that emotion of, I'm doing it for this reason. And I think that we're going to get that in this game. I wouldn't have blamed him if he missed this game. No one would, because of how much he meant to him. But for him to just have a cause, and I think that that's raw, and I think that's real. And we see that with Jokic, who he can never lie. He's very honest. So that's what I think we get from him.
I agree. I think we get a focused, determined, locked in Nikola Jokic tonight. It's so hard to put yourself in his shoes when something like that happens. But, I at least have found, and I feel like covering the NBA for a time, I have found that when there's events like this, sometimes it can focus you even more at the task at hand. So, I don't know, but I'm with Dev. I think we get a focused Nikola Jokic.
Yeah, it could go either way. It's kind of crazy now, but remember Porter went through that, with his brother and came out and had a good game. Everyone's a little different, so I don't want to project too hard, but it's the obvious elephant in the room, if it's even that. It's obviously something he is feeling emotionally in this moment in his life, and it's just something to consider one way or another as he plays a game.
Michael Malone had an interesting quote, and thanks to Katie Wingy, she posted the entire interview when he was asked about it, and in addition to just talking about being there for him and Malone sharing, I lost my father this year, I can kind of relate to losing someone, that way. But he said now it's up to Nikola to carry on his legacy, to perform for him, to play to his standard. And I just thought it was such an interesting comment that sometimes you just have to listen to what Malone says, because it's sort of the angle he takes. And it almost sounded like Nikola's best way to honor him is to play great. And look, I don't want to put extra pressure on Jokic now, because you're right. Who knows? But Jokic seems to be steady in his approach night to night. So to expect a sentimental, type of performance, this or that, or I just don't know what you're going to get. I don't know that he needs to perform anything like that. But tonight, I did wonder, as I was coming into the game tonight, I wonder, what we get from him tonight, and if you do get something special, or the opposite. It'll be curious to see. One way or another, we're not going to judge the big fella. Did you see that? Did you pull up the tweet I sent you and producer Alyssa? Did you see it? Let me see if you could cue this one up, because the Brigenda The agenda here, Michael Porter, Jayson Tatum. The contrast, it goes back 20 years, fellas. I don't know if you guys have seen the old photo. Do you have it there, Alyssa?
This Bragenda 20 years in the making.
20 years in the making here. It actually is kind of a badass photo to think of these guys playing each other at such a young age.
When I was 10, I tweeted the Jaylen Brown tweet. I said, the energy is about to shift. I didn't know what it was about, but something
You
was
tweeted
different
it, huh?
in the
That's
air.
crazy. You tweeted it.
Yeah.
Pull it up, Alyssa, if you have it.
It's okay, Alyssa.
Yeah, just any second it'll
No
be
pressure,
good.
Alyssa.
There it is. Look at this, you guys,
Of course
on the
it's
screen.
CT. My guy.
So wait, Vogt, you were actually at this game?
That's right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he,
that's
was,
right.
he was heckling
I
in the
took-
stand.
I
You
took
were
the
at
picture.
this is when you decided you were going to take
Scroll down just a hair
MPJ's
here
gear.
so we can
Well,
see
no,
these shorts
no.
that we have
See,
on them. They have
That's
some
what's
incredible
funny,
shorts.
Wind, is I didn't know who this Porter kid was yet, but that Tatum kid was driving me nuts. So
Yeah.
I was just
So kind of cool.
He was chucking shots back
yeah,
then.
How good do you think these dudes were at this age here,
So
Dev?
good.
so good.
A lot better than everyone else.
What age? Yeah, probably for sure. I was trying to think of this. At what age could Michael Porter kick my ass at basketball? If I was in my absolute apex prime, what age was Michael Porter? And I think 8th grade. I think it was 8th grade because I seen his 9th grade highlights. It was pretty good.
yeah.
8th grade, man, you're so young. You're
Yeah.
you're 13 years old. Like, all right, I think I could have muscled him, but these dudes at about 13, 14, probably where they could have kicked my ass.
8th grade, yeah, summer, like right
So
before summer.
going into
Yeah,
eighth grade.
Right before that one growth spurt he had that summer.
So
Yeah.
true, man. It's kind of cool.
but that is a dope picture
so dope, man.
to like capture that all.
Though
Yeah.
that kid would beat me to 11. Not
probably,
kidding. Not
probably
a
your
joke.
height, if we're being honest. Guys, the Boston Celtics like to make three-pointers. They make them at a high rate. If you pull up the graphic now that has all of the teams that have made major three-pointers, you look at it here, 6 threes in a game. You got the Bucks, you got the Pacers who just play up and down, and you got the Mavs who spread you out. Okay, those three. The Celtics, who are 5-0 in games in which they hit 20 or more threes, they've done it 5 times. They've hit 18 and 19 a ton. Denver just once, blowout win, I think, over Memphis, like a laugher of a game. But Denver has not really flirted with the 23s very often. They're not a team that has it. This is Boston's bread and butter. They make a lot of threes, and that's what makes them so dangerous. And even on their off nights, they're hitting 14, 13, 14. To me, this is the story of the Nuggets versus the Celtics and why the matchup is so tough, is even when Denver plays well, the Celtics just get up an enormous volume of threes. But you could also argue maybe that makes them vulnerable because they're counting on their jumper so much.
Yeah, I mean, you win by the 3, you lose by the 3. If you're making them, of course it's tough. Also, you're going to be able to score in a lot of different ways, and the defense is just going to try to overcompensate of trying to take you off of the threes where you're going to get easy finishes inside. So if you have a team that can take a lot of them, you see those teams typically win on nights that they're really hot, but there is an in-between.
What's so funny is I feel like the narrative that at least I've seen a lot of this season coming out of Boston is like the Boston media peppering Joe Mazzulla about why they're taking so many threes and like being pissed about them taking so many threes. They're 32-9. They haven't lost at home. Like, it's obviously a strategy that's really good for them.
It's clearly working.
Yeah,
Well,
it's clearly working.
I'm with you in terms of the moment we're at, but here's what's interesting to me, and I do think they have a little bit. It's not quite the same thing, but they raised some of the James Harden Rockets questions, right? Which is like, I think some Celtics fans are upset because they're tired of getting to the playoffs and then being like, oh, it's just can our role players hit corner threes or can
And then they
Tatum hit
don't.
pull up threes and
Yeah.
then they don't. But at the same time, I'm with you, Wind. Like, if I'm Joe Mazzulla, that's probably like, I'm probably looking down at the stat sheet and going, I'm sorry, are we losing games right now? Have I missed something?
I mean, they have clearly figured out a formula that works
Yes.
to win regular season games and
I
works
agree.
to win regular season games at a ridiculous clip.
especially at home, right? Like, where the 3-point shooting typically almost every time is going to swing towards the home team in terms of shot luck or just role players, which is why I am scared of them on a road game in January, because I do think they could just hit a bunch of threes.
Scared.
I really do. I'm scared. Like, I know you guys wanted me to be throwing haymakers.
Sweating over there.
January, dude.
No, it's a regular game, man.
No, here's I woke up anxious. I got into a back and forth with Nikola Aesthetic on Twitter. Shout out my guy.
I didn't see that.
Now I'm extra anxious.
You got into an argument on Twitter.
It wasn't even like we
You
mostly.
woke up a little edgy and you're starting to go to war.
I
love
agreed
it.
with a stranger aggressively in circles on
yeah,
Twitter, and now I'm sweating. sweaty. But I hope.
I love that.
I
love
hope.
that.
Don't get me wrong, though. If they win,
Oh,
old fashions for the fellas. Turn it up. You know what I mean?
Let's go,
Yeah.
baby. I love it. Dev, the Nuggets only have one game with 23s. I'm surprised by that. They create such good looks. But we're at the halfway point. At the end of the year, how many games with 20-plus threes do they get? If they got one now.
5.
So this back
6.
half, they shoot a little better.
A little bit. Or I just think that they're going to try to see some type of change, or you try to pick up the pace when you see it. Right now, they're not at a spot that is not working for them.
Yeah.
But also, it's like, let's see what it looks like. And then there's a few teams that are going to force that in you. You know, maybe you play the Pacers. Maybe I bet you it comes against a specific team. The Kings will probably force you to do that and things like that. But then when you get closer to the playoffs, you're not going to go away from what you're going to get into. So there has to be a stretch really soon, or it's not going to really happen for them.
Yeah.
That's a wild stat to me. Nuggets have only done it once.
Yeah.
Think about the shooters they have on that team. Michael Porter, KCP, Jamal Murray, who's actually taking more threes than he did last season. And coming into the year, Michael Malone, we want to take more threes, yada, yada, yada. It's obviously just not in this team's DNA to take a lot.
And are they better off for that too? Like, that's why I think there's an interesting philosophical contrast here, like in terms of team approach, because the Nuggets are at times in the regular season, I think, over-reliant on the two-man game as opposed to letting everyone shoot threes sometimes. But I also think that's a big part of why they went 16-4 in the playoffs, because they have an action beyond just chucking threes up.
Totally.
So, like, yeah, it's just interesting to me.
They do, but, and I've said this a lot before, they underachieve as an offense, I think, in the regular season. The Nuggets are like the 7th best offense or 8th best offense. That's ridiculous. Like, they should be top 3.
But you know why it is? I actually think I've cracked why this is, in part. Starters play very few minutes relative to a lot of teams. A lot of teams, their guys are playing 36, 37 minutes.
Right.
And it's Denver starters are phenomenal on offense. It's always the bench, and I just think that if Denver's starters played 3 or 4 minutes more, they'd probably be 3rd on offense instead of 7th.
But what if they hit a couple more threes per game as well?
Well, that too. It could be that as well. But I mean, if you just talk about the no starters lineups, or even just the Murray and Ford, that offense is like a 102 offensive rating, and it plays a lot more minutes than most. All right, let's get into the agenda apocalypse here, because tonight is not it. Vote.
No,
tonight is not. It's just a game.
Just a game.
It would suck for you. It would suck. You have to do the post game show. There's no D-line substitute for you tonight.
Yeah. That intro was actually a shot at D-line. You got to be there no matter what.
But what I would say your agenda apocalypse is not just the Nuggets losing to the Celtics, but that Tatum dominating MPJ in a finals to where it's just like, my God, that would be the ultimate agenda apocalypse. Would you agree?
I would. And over the years, it has not been a great matchup for Porter. And in the early years, when Porter was just getting on the floor, do you remember there were like twice as many questions as there are now about what happens when the game gets physical, when guys get into him? I mean, that ball got loose a lot. He couldn't get open against teams like Boston. And this roster's well equipped, right? Drew, Tatum, Brown to like get into him, make life hard for him. I think Mike's grown up a lot since that. But yeah, man, if that matchup is why the Nuggets either A, can't win the finals, or B, we get into a discussion about how they need to start closing with Christian or Peyton because of Jayson Tatum, I might chicken out and quit the show for sure.
You might quit the show. But on the inverse, you get to a finals, and the reason they win is because MPJ, man, he just had a couple big shots and big moments. Maybe he has a career high in one game where he's just on fire.
Yoke gets up to the mic, he goes, "Look, we won tonight because we got him the Rock. I don't know what to tell you."
Yeah, we got Mike the Rock.
Yeah.
Dev, what is your agenda apocalypse? What would be your version of that?
Mine would be like if I went into like a coma or fell asleep or went to jail for like a year or two, and then like
really personal
basketball related.
John Wall, OJ Mayo, Chris Paul. Like if all these guys all came back and won a championship,
but you missed it all,
and I missed it. I would not know what to do. Hold on, wait, what?
If you were in a coma and you came out of it, and there we are at your bedside, and we're like, "Listen, man, you're never gonna believe it." But OJ Mayo
came out.
How long would it take you before you like
Russell
Westbrook?
Dude, I'll go back into the coma.
You'd have a heart attack sending you back
Things
into
would
a
be
coma.
so bad. It would hurt.
like
It would
Dev-
hurt me because I need to see it.
OJ Mayo's wearing 15 in Denver, dude.
Yeah, things, man.
Things have changed, bro.
I'd be like, what does Carmelo think about that?
Yeah.
He actually likes it.
Wins, what's your agenda apocalypse?
I don't know if I can top that, but
There's no way you can.
trade talks are heating up.
Yeah,
You know.
trade talks.
Oh, here
are.
we go.
We had a big trade happen.
Here we go.
Pascal Siakam, big trade in the Eastern Conference.
I like that trade. That was a big trade. I like it.
Big trade, lots to talk about. Trade season is heating up all the way till the trade deadline. If the Nuggets trade one member of Project Dynasty, I'm done for.
Really, it's that bad.
I'm done for, man. I mean, I have staked my reputation now on believing in Project Dynasty, believing in the two timelines. If Peyton Watson, Christian Brown, or Julian Strother get traded,
You're down bad.
it's finished.
Now you know how I feel all the time, man. You guys talk about OG Anunoby. I'm like, I hate this shit.
By the way, he's been great with
I
New
know,
York.
it's been awesome.
It's been really good.
I put a lot of thought into that.
I love that yours is Project Dynasty. You know what? Write it out, baby.
Yeah,
Let's get it.
I got to.
Mine, I already lived it. Nobody knows this, or maybe everybody knows this, but it's always losing to the Lakers, and specifically Anthony Davis outplaying Jokic. Now, totally redeemed ourselves, totally. So there's the pain of that is gone. But that people don't realize that Lakers series and that Anthony Davis shot really did have me down bad, man. That's my my agenda apocalypse is always the Lakers beating the Nuggets, and they beat them in a very painful way. But like I said, pain can only last so long.
Oh,
Yoke freaking dominating AD for 4 straight, being a sweep. Like, the Nuggets would have just won in 7 and banked in a game winner. I would have been like, redeemed. But instead, they swept them. So my my agenda apocalypse in the rearview mirror,
and
baby.
what's the lesson, Adam? Never let go of your agendas.
Never let go, baby. Hold on
Never
to
let
them.
go.
All right, it's everybody's favorite time. Let's open up the DraftKings Sportsbook. Or, I'm sorry, the Bet365 Never Ordinary. First time I've ever done that. Bet365 Never Ordinary app. Turn our full attention to Superstar Dev.
You went to Bet365 because there's money to be made on Bet365. And they don't get the same lines. They get better lines than all the other places that we shall not name again. In this game, Denver comes in as 7-point underdogs. 7. The Celtics are 20-0 at home and playing great basketball. The thing is, this is a great spot for Denver to just remind the people that they're the champions. They can get this. I would wait on this line. I would get it live. You get it at 7 now. Say that the Celtics go up by 4 or 6. This is going to jump up to like 10 or 11. So I would take this live and get, Nuggets plus 11, plus 12.
You always make me feel so confident. I love this, man.
That's a good one.
All right.
It's 12. I like the under of 234 in this game. These are two teams that play well in the half-court set. One team likes to shoot threes. If the threes are not falling, they're going to have to slow it down, and I think Denver's going to want to try to slow them down. They're also defending the three ball a bit better than they have in the past. I also don't see why Denver wouldn't try to just go into the half-court set and get Jokic versus Porzingis a lot. That means it's going to be slower pace. That means that they're going to slow it down. So I like under 234 in this game. For Boston, Vogt has lied multiple times and said Derek White is their best player. He's not. It's Tatum. Tatum's their best player. They go as he goes. And that man gets his shots up. If he shoots 44%, that means he goes for 50 points. We do not want that to happen. Because that man's going to shoot about 27 shots, and that's just a lot. So I'm going to go with him to score over 27. I just think
How
that's
much are you
too low.
betting on that one? Are you putting your bet in?
On the over?
Yeah, are you putting in it?
You might as well,
yeah,
so
no,
that
I
if
just
he
bet
doesn't hit it, you're like, yes. But if he hits it, you're like, I knew it was coming.
Dude, if I place that bet, my thumb's going to
It's
light
so
on
true.
fire.
It's
dude.
so true.
I can't. I just can't.
So the second bet is not on friend of the show, but friend of the bar, Derek White, who we
All
just
right,
talked
you know what? I
about.
might actually do this one.
He plays well against Denver. It was his favorite team growing up. I just think that has something for him to play a little bit harder. He's also a starter now and playing a lot more minutes. I like him at over 21.5 points, rebounds, and assists. He just does all of the smaller things. He doesn't even have to score a bunch to get that. It could be rebounds. It could be assists. And he just sets the table. He gets involved in a lot of different ways. He's also going to have the matchup of guarding Jamal. He's going to switch off with Drew Holiday at times. So he'll be able to get that. Now to Denver, the side that you're waiting for. I don't think Jamal's going to score much in this game. I just don't see
Tough matchups,
a reason.
man.
This is a tough matchup. He's going to have Drew Holiday and Derek White, two of the best defenders in the NBA on the perimeter, that are going to be giving him a very tough time. You can't switch on to them. And Jayson Tatum, if you get that switch as well. So I'm thinking that means he's going to have assists. It's at 6.5. He also needs to pass the ball more. We've been seeing it. There's more guys that have opportunities to shoot it. Get them involved. 6.5 is too low for him. I'm going to go over on that. They've watched the film. I do love Michael Porter Jr.'s over 2.5 3-pointers in this one. I feel like he plays well against Celtics. I also think that they're going to throw so many actions at Jamal, so many actions at Jokic, that it's going to leave other guys to eat. Those other guys, MPJ, KCP. I think Michael Porter Jr. over 2.5 3-pointers is just too easy.
Let's go, Dev. Thank you.
He could get this in the first quarter. Like, really just
he's
can
not
get
going to
that.
get it in the second, third, or fourth. So.
We're going to come back to that. They have Michael Porter Jr.'s points plus rebounds at 21.5. Points plus rebounds. He could get this in points alone. That's super easy.
Who's?
Michael
MPJ.
Porter Jr. 21.5. He had 20 points last game and didn't touch the ball in the second half. I'm just saying.
I like where your head's at here.
I
Dev.
like that.
Okay.
Let's get Jamal to record one steal, and that's just as a booster. It has some juice on it, but I think that he gets active in different ways than just scoring. You have to be involved. Aaron Gordon's rebounds plus an assist at 8.5. I think that's just too low. Also, he's going to be able to – he has to defend Tatum. They're going to be doing a lot of switches of trying to get him off of Tatum, so he's going to be in help side. That's a lot of rebounds that he's able to get as a help side defender. So I just think that that's a little bit more on those switches.
I'll take it.
The lock. Jokic over 8.5 assists.
Ooh, really?
It's lower than it's been, and I don't know why.
They think they're gonna
Boston
make him a
also
scorer.
does not care. They will throw more actions at him than anyone else. They
It's because
have
the cat's
good
out of the
defenders.
bag. You got to make Jokic a score.
You have to make him a score. Also, like, they're going to give him one-on-one coverage. They're going to give him double teams. They're going to give him zones. They're going to give him different looks. He's going to read it. He's a computer. He sees it's coming. 8.5 is lower. I don't know what they're thinking. He's going to be motivated. He's the man. MVP, the best player in the league. It's happening.
Wow,
Over
Dev.
8.5 assists.
Wow.
They have Jokic rebounds at 11.5. I kind of like him rebounding tonight, too.
Oh, yeah.
If
With
they're
all the
shooting
three-pointers?
all those 3-pointers, he's going to get all those. He didn't even get defensive rebounds last game. It was all offensive. He's going to
Right.
get defensive. He's going to get offensive. That is pretty easy.
I kind of like that one. We've got to ask, too, before we get out of the show, we do have 2 Super Chats, but before we get there, I got to ask, who's going to eat tonight? Who's going to eat? We always go to this segment presented by Circle K. Is it Yoke? I mean, you put a lot of Yoke bets in there.
I think Nikola Jokic is eating tonight. Yeah.
It's a Jokic night. He's going to eat. Monster game from him.
50 wings in Philly. Maybe he's going to...
Look, I feel like one reason Jokic might have struggled against the Celtics in the past was because of Robert Williams.
Yeah? Yeah.
He's not in Boston anymore.
No.
Not nearly as intimidated by a Porzingis Horford front line as I was when Robert Williams was there. Like, that guy was scary as a weak side shot blocker. They don't have him anymore.
Porzingis might space him out and make a bunch of threes tonight, but I agree with you. Who do you think Yoke as well?
Yeah, Yoke, Derek White.
Derek White, our first ever Circle K. Who's gonna eat? And it's Derek White.
I fucking promise you.
He's so fast.
Jason Tatum might eat tonight.
Your boy.
He might eat. Derek White? My boy.
Your boy.
I'm honored.
You guys,
I'm honored.
He's
man.
a Boulder boy.
I
I'm
see you
honored.
guys celebrating at the bar.
That was a
racing
great.
like
That was a
best
great
friends.
day. That was a great day. Yeah.
Everybody, that does it.
We
for
gotta
our
get him on those
pregame.
Nuggets, man.
Oh, we got our super chats. Let's
Gotta
get to
get
those.
Derek
Thank
White
you.
on the
Kevin
Nuggets.
Keller, I'm behind enemy lines at the TD Garden tonight. If the Nuggets don't win, I am fighting Laking Ball.
Hey, watch your back, Laking Ball. Wait your back.
Imagine just watching the games
Lakin
without
Ball
any
got
of
a
this.
super chat.
And then from Germanius Ultimus.
1,000 R's.
Yeah, here's $10. $5 for you guys, and 5 put on a perfect triple-double for Jokic from
Let's
me.
go, baby. Perfect triple-double tonight. Woo! Let's go, baby.
Let's
Everybody, thanks for watching the pregame show.
go!
Friday night, the bar's popping. We're going to go down and join the homies. Hit that like button on the way out. We'll see you on the other side.
the mayor.